In today's video, we're going to be making some keto scalloped potatoes. We're going to be doing this using turnips. You can also use rutabaga. I have tried it both ways, but today we do have turnips. So I'm going to be doing this video using turnips. You're going to pretty much prepare them both the same way. With Thanksgiving coming up in a couple months, I figured why not make a video on the scalloped potatoes. It's going to be a great side for Thanksgiving or any other time that you want scalloped potatoes. So let's get right into the video. But before we do, if you are new here and you like keto recipes, please make sure that you do hit subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be updated every time we drop a video. Alright guys, so for this recipe, we're going to be using this mandolin slicer. And if you don't have one of these, they're really not expensive at all. You can either cut them really thin if you know how to cut them really thin, or to get one of these, I'll leave a link in the description below if you're interested in looking at one. They are very easy to use, but we're going to be using 2 turnips today for this recipe. You can also use rutabaga. I actually tried it with both rutabaga and turnips, and the rutabaga was very, very good. So if you do have a chance to try this with rutabaga, definitely do. It's a totally different flavor. But anyways, so to start off, we're just going to go ahead and peel this turnip, and once it's peeled, we can start slicing it, and I'll show you how we're going to slice it. Alright, so now that we have the turnips peeled, I'm just going to show you real quick how we're going to use this mandolin slicer. It's really easy to use. We've sliced it all and I've cut off the edges just to give it more of a flat surface to make it easier. And these turnips are actually kind of big, so they're going to come in slices a lot bigger than you would normally see scalloped potatoes. So just keep that in mind. So on this slicer, it has these pins here if you pull it back, and then what it does is you can stick that into your turnip or whatever you're slicing. Kind of just holds it in place for you. And then you can just slide it back and forth like that. It's really simple. For me, it's easiest to do it like this. You definitely want to be careful. You don't want to slice your finger, but as you can see, they come out really thin. Yeah, the slices aren't coming out perfect for me, but you can see how thin they are, just like scalloped potatoes. So I'll go ahead and finish slicing these and we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so we're going to get an 8x8 dish, and we're going to start just layering some of the sliced turnips into the pan. And you can do this any way that you want. Normally you would do, 2 or 3 layers of it. I do 3 layers. So just line them up, overlap them. My slices are not round, but it really doesn't matter. So you just line it all up, and what you're going to do is we're going to season each layer so that all of the turnips do have seasoning on them. So once you have that first layer down, we will add the seasoning. So I have the seasonings that we're using here. So in here we have salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika, and then just mix it all in. That way it's well combined and you get a pretty even amount on each layer. Alright, and once you have your seasoning all mixed up, then kind of just season the first layer, as much seasoning as you want. I will have the measurements in the description down below of how much I used. It's really going to depend though on how much seasoning that you want to use. So if you want to use more, use more. If you don't, then use less. So we're adding the second layer, and then after the second layer is done, we are going to do the same thing and season it again. You can either pour the heavy cream right on top here and then add shredded cheese on top. Of course, you would probably want to add the shredded cheese on each layer, but I just prefer to do it this way, but there is no wrong or right way to do it. So do whichever one that works best for you. So the way that I do it is we're just adding in 1 cup of heavy cream to this pot, and I have this pot on medium low. And then just let it warm up just a little bit. Okay, and then once your heavy cream has warmed up just a little bit, then go ahead and add in your shredded cheese. You can use cheddar cheese. I'm using the Mexican blend just because that's what I have on hand. But you can use any cheese of your choice, really. And then we're just going to mix it all up, and then it should start to melt in and become just like a cheese sauce. And while that is going, let's add our butter to the dish. Alright, so here I have 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm just going to add that into the sauce. You could just lay the butter on top and then pour the sauce on top, but I just add the butter in there just so that it gets down into all the layers when you pour the cheese on top. And as you can see in the sauce, you don't really see the pieces of cheese anymore. It's basically now a cheese sauce. So what we're going to do is we are going to make sure it is all mixed in. Alright, so it looks good. It's all mixed in. So now the only thing you have to do is just pour the cheese sauce over the top. And don't worry, it's going to all get down into all the layers, and then as it cooks, it's going to thin out anyway while it's cooking. Alright guys, now it's good to go. We have our oven set. And now we're just going to put these in the oven at 375 for about 45 minutes. Keep in mind, temperature and times are going to depend on your oven. And our scalloped potatoes are done, and we have taken them out of the oven, and I let them sit for about 10 minutes. When you first take them out, you're going to notice that the sauce is very thin and bubbly. Don't worry about that. Once you let it sit and cool, it is going to thicken up, and you are not going to have that problem. Let's go ahead and cut a slice, and we will show you what it looks like. Alright you guys, so the scalloped potatoes are done, and we're just going to have a bite of them real quick. I have them right here. So we're just going to take a bite here and see how they came out. I mean, I already know that I like them, but just to give you a little taste test at the end. They are good. So if you guys enjoyed this recipe, please make sure you hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.